Hey guys, what's up? I know it's been a while, I apologize. Hopefully this weekend I'll be releasing a little bit of a channel update video letting you guys know what happened. But for now, this video we're just sticking with Steam games that have released in April and May, checking out the ones with the highest 24-hour player peaks right now. We're gonna go through these new popular releases and play a little game where we say pass, wishlist, or buy them. Unfortunately, since I just bought a house, money's kind of tight, so I probably won't be buying a ton of these. But hey, the real question is, do you want to buy them, wishlist them, or pass them? So be thinking through that as you watch this video. Starting off our list at number 8 with a 750 24-hour player peak, For the King. For the King is a strategic RPG that blends tabletop and roguelike elements in a challenging adventure that spans the realms. Set off on a single player experience or play cooperatively both online and locally. Every playthrough offers new challenges, opportunities, and rewards. For the King has been in early access for over a year, and the developers at Iron Oak Games have been diligently working on it throughout. It's a beautiful looking tabletop game that also lets you jump into different perspectives for fights that reminds me of playing more like Final Fantasy or Legend of the Dragoon way back in my gaming days. Not everyone is pleased with the game though, as it only has 80% positive reviews and 78 on Metacritic, but those aren't too low. Most complaints come from being a difficult roguelike game that some are having a really hard time beating, even on the easiest modes. However, I need a hard game that isn't too mechanically intensive like Dark Souls that makes me rage every moment of my life, so this being a hard game that isn't that actually encourages me more to get it. At first, as I was doing this video, I put it on my wish list, then seeing it 25% off on Humble Bundle, I bought it slightly on an impulse, so check out my streams on Twitch if you want to see how this game goes for me. Number 7 with a 3,500 24-hour player peak is Dragon Cliff. Dragon Cliff is a semi-idle RPG game. Players are to collect adventurers, kill monsters, craft armories, advance talent, trees. Oh my gosh, and the list goes on and on and on. Who wrote this description? Anyways though, I know I recently said I'm not a huge fan of idle or clicker games, and I'm not, but I try to stay somewhat unbiased, and this is doing pretty well even though I'm not a huge fan of it. I will say though, even though I don't like idle games, this is only semi-idle, and it does seem like there is a lot of content and depth. There's lots of classes, party, and town customization. People said the game is addicting and great. It's a little bit like Soda Dungeon. There are some poor translations made as this was originally in Chinese. I don't think it ruins the entire game, but it's still a pass for me. Next up on the list with 3,600 players is Frostpunk. Frostpunk is the first society survival game. As the ruler of the last city on Earth, it is your duty to manage both its citizens and infrastructure. What decisions will you make to ensure your society's survival? What will you do when pushed to breaking point? Who will you become in the process? Frostpunk claims they have a new concept of a game, and as far as I know, which is very little because I don't really play city manager games, it's a true claim. It's a city builder like most others, but with a twist that it's all about survival and making some brutal decisions just to try to keep your civilization alive. Not only is it somewhat unique, but it's also done a good job of accomplishing what they set out to do. Currently it's in the top 100 most played Steam games right now and has a solid 85 Metacritic score. While I think it's a cool game that many could enjoy, it's just not my current cup of tea, and for now, I'm going to pass on it. Starting off the top 5 is BattleTech with 8,800 players. Take command of your own mercenary outfit of mechs and the mech warriors that pilot them, struggling to stay afloat as you find yourself drawn into a brutal interstellar civil war. BattleTech is a turn-based strategy game that is all about doing missions with mechs that you build yourself. It has in-depth mech building and customization, plenty of missions to do, and some decent strategy involved to it. The game, however, is a little more volatile than the other games on this list, with only 73% rating on Steam. Some have found game crashing bugs, the gameplay to be a little repetitive, or as in every turn-based game, complaints of the RNG. In my mind, I would much rather get an XCOM game before buying BattleTech. However, I could see it being a great game if you are really into mechs. But for me, mechs aren't at the top of my interests, and so this game will also be a pass for me. Also with the 8800 peak is Pillars of Eternity 2 Dead Fire. Pursue a rogue god over land and sea in the sequel to the multi-award-winning RPG Pillars of Eternity. Captain your ship on a dangerous voyage of discovery across the vast, unexplored region of the Deadfire. To be honest, I wasn't paying much attention to Pillars of Eternity 2 because I never played the first one, even though it was a well-loved game. However, being in the top 50 most played games right now and a really good Metacritic score of 89 intrigued me greatly. I haven't played a classic RPG since my console days, and this one is now on my number 2 RPG wishlist behind Divinity Original Sin 2. This classic RPG has character customization, multiple classes, sailing, and some pretty cool lighting and graphics. The main bummers of this game though that I've read on reviews came from the main storyline feeling a bit flat, and mixed reviews also on the companion system and interaction with your main character with the rest of your party members. Overall, most people preferred this sequel to the original, and is a game that I'm considering if it ever goes on sale and drops its hefty $50 price tag. So for now, it's at least going on to my wish list. Finally out of early access, and with almost 15,000 player peak in the last 24 hours, is The Forest. As the lone survivor of a passenger jet crash, you find yourself in a mysterious forest, battling to stay alive against a society of cannibalistic mutants. Build, explore, survive in this terrifying first-person survival horror simulator. The Forest has done really well always, even in its start of early access back in all the way in 2014. Finally, just under 4 years later, this survival horror game is finally fully released. I think most people are glad that they took their sweet time though, as they really nailed what they set out to create. I've only spent a small amount of time on this game, but even for such a short amount of time, I was really impressed. The graphics were pretty good and the enemies definitely freaked me out. Also, what impresses me is that this game is still only $20 even after being fully released. I was definitely expecting a big price increase like most games coming out of early access that have done well. If I were to spend more time in survival games, this would definitely be on my top 3 choices, so let's put it on the good old wish list. Also now out of early access with 25,000 players is the free game of Paladins. I already talked about Paladins in my free-to-play games just a video or 2 ago, so I won't go over it much. Most people already know Paladins as the younger brother of Overwatch. The real question is, how is the game doing now that it's out of full release and can't hide behind an early access tag? Well, overall it's still doing great, as it's the game with the 15th most current players on Steam and an 84% rating. Of course, now that it's fully released, there are a lot of people complaining that there are still glitches and constant crashes to the game. I haven't played Paladins recently, so I can't speak into any current bugs, but playing the game a few months ago, I did not experience any of those myself. It's a great game and it's free, so you don't even have to add it to your wishlist, just go out and play it. Believe it or not, but out of the fully released new games, the game with the highest 24-hour player peak is actually Conan Exiles, as it had 36,000 players. Conan Exiles is an open world survival game set in the lands of Conan the Barbarian. Survive in a vast and seamless world, build a home and a kingdom, dominate your enemies in a single and multiplayer game mode. I feel really weird talking about Conan Exiles again. Last time I talked about it was in 2017, saying that it might be worth a buy if it went low on the summer sale. The problem was, even though the game was released in early access with a big boom, by the summer, everyone thought this game absolutely sucked. It had one of the lowest ratings out on Steam. However, this open world survival game is now on full release and has made quite the turnaround. Its recent review score is now a 73% on Steam. Overall, the pros that I've seen from reviewers are the beautiful world environment, character customization, and the ability to play PvE, PvP, or single player. The major con is that even in its full release, it still has lots of bugs. If you like survival games though, and perhaps you're tired of your current one, this is one that you could risk getting. It's a slightly bigger risk though, with a $40 price tag. I'm going to pass on it now because I know I don't have time for it and I don't feel like I should spend my little time on gaming that has a high potential for bugs. I want my games to be clean as a... That's it for this video, guys. I'm glad to be back. I got a lot more to say, but just wait for that video. It's coming soon. Should be, you know, Saturday or Sunday. Who knows? Life is crazy. What do I know? See you guys later. Have a great weekend. Memorial weekend even. Sweet.